Hello, welcome back to the breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a huge lineup of news to brief you all on today. So today's date is May 24th, 2025, and it's Saturday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. We've got a lot of news to cover in today's update. We're going to start off talking about the capital of Kiev in Ukraine last night. As Russia's terror on civilians in Ukraine continues, take a look at your screen here. Russia hammers Kyiv with hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles overnight. Multiple people were injured as several waves of explosions rocked Kyiv overnight on May 24th during a massive Russian drone and missile attack against the Ukrainian capital. So this is actually a picture from Kyiv last night. I believe this was either a Russian missile or a drone being shot down out of the skies. You can see all that fire just falling there from all that debris. Very frightening. Lots of videos and pictures coming out from Kyiv last night. At least 250 drones being fired, 14 ballistic missiles, many of them being Iskander ballistic missiles. Just so much information to cover on that, guys. A lot of people being injured and killed in Kyiv last night. So very horrible information. But I have to show you what's happening inside this war between Ukraine and Russia. We also have information that the Ukrainians attacked Russia last night as well with drones. We have information coming out from the Tula region and also the Lipetsk region. And yesterday I let you guys know that a battery plant was being attacked in the Lipetsk region in the city of Yelets. And the name of this plant was called Energia. I think that's how you pronounce it. And they produce batteries for a lot of weapon systems in Russia's military, like for their missiles and some of their drones as well. So reportedly that plant got hit again today. And also over the same night, we had a chemical plant in the Tula region being attacked as well, and it looks like it got destroyed. I've got multiple videos I can show you guys coming out from there. We could see what looks like orange smoke coming from the facility, indicating burning chemicals, and I think they produce like ammonium nitrate for like explosives over there, ammonium as well. So a lot of these would be used, for explosives for the Russian military. So lots of news to cover, guys. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this. Let me start giving you the information. Let's hop on over here to X with Noel reports. Russia's foreign ministry threatens a proportional response to Ukrainian recent drone strikes on its territory, claiming future targets will be exclusively military sites and defense industry facilities. We can expect civilians to be targeted. So if you see, this report came out yesterday, May 23rd, 2025. So Russia was threatening they were going to be responding in kind to all these drone attacks that Ukraine has been carrying out into the Moscow region and surrounding areas. Been reporting to you guys that over the last few days, Russia's defense ministry was saying something like 700 plus drones were entering into Russia, and many of these just smashing military sites all over Russian territory. So they were going to respond to this. This is what they decided to do, was hammer Kiev. Also, the Sumy region was getting hit last night as well, but mostly the capital of Kiev being attacked directly onto civilians, okay? Not really exclusively military sites like they stated. So this is what Noel Reports was stating yesterday, and it looks like he was right about that. So now from Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, fragments of Russian missiles and drones are being cleared in Kiev. Rescue and emergency operations are ongoing on the sites of strikes and debris impacts wherever they are needed. There were many fires and explosions in the city overnight. Once again, residential buildings, cars, businesses have been damaged. Sadly, there are injuries. It was a difficult night for all of Ukraine. 250 strike drones, the absolute majority of them Iranian Shaheeds, and 14 ballistic missiles. The Odessa, Vinnytsia, Sumy, Kharkiv, Donetsk, Kiev, Dnipro regions suffered damages. All strikes targeted civilians. There are fatalities. My condolences to the families and loved ones. With each such attack, the world becomes more certain that the cause of prolonging the war lies in Moscow. Ukraine has proposed a ceasefire many times, both a full one and one in the skies. It all has been ignored. It is clear that far stronger pressure must be imposed on Russia to get results and launch real diplomacy. We are awaiting sanction steps from the United States, Europe, and all our partners. Only additional sanctions targeting key sectors of the Russian economy will force Moscow to cease fire. I thank everyone who helps and supports us. Okay, so huge statement coming out from Volodymyr Zelensky today. He shared a 1-minute video that I want to show you guys on the consequences of these strikes last night, and Ukrainian emergency crews, fire department showing up at a lot of these sites that got hit last night. Lots of infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, being attacked last night. So take a look.
Діма, до тебе пішло дзвінок, тягніть лінію хати. Давай сюди, а? Стой, почекай, стой. Давай, лягай. Приймайте. Хорошо, приймайте.
Карма 4. Задавам дальше пожежу лодку.
All right, so very horrifying footage coming out from Kiev last night, and something that I was thinking about is it's so sad that maybe a lot of people are able to make it underground when these missiles and drones start coming in. They do have air raid shelters, and for example, the subway system in Kiev where people can go to seek safety from these attacks. But imagine the people that cannot, like the elderly or people that might be disabled. They're stuck in their apartments and their high-rise buildings that repeatedly get attacked from Russian drones. So it's just so sad to see that, guys, that not everybody can hide from these attacks. So now from NOAA reports, UK Foreign Secretary on Russia's latest attack. These are not the actions of a country seeking peace. Last night, Russia launched 14 missiles and hundreds of drones across Ukraine. Another night of terror for civilians, more homes damaged and destroyed. Okay, so statement coming out from UK's Foreign Secretary David Lammy here. This is him meeting with Zelensky at some point in the past. So, he's come out so many times, very supportive of Ukraine, just making a major statement, showing here that Russia clearly does not want peace, especially when they're attacking civilians. I mean, when Ukraine launches these drones into Russia, most of the information that we get coming out is not, residential buildings getting destroyed and whatnot. It's mainly only military sites. But then whenever Russia responds, look at what they do. They just completely destroy Ukrainian cities, especially the capital. I mean, imagine if Ukraine did that to Moscow. We haven't seen anything close to that. Okay, so now from Alexander, an absolutely insane number of Russian kamikaze drones are mass murdering Ukrainians right now. It's absolute hell. So take a look at this map. These were the air raid sirens that were going off in the different regions and the threat of missiles and drones incoming. You can see mainly the Kiev region, the capital of Kiev, being attacked by a lot of these drones, and also a few up here in Cherniv and also Sumy region. So this was primarily the northern side up here of Ukraine that was being attacked last night. So very sad. Looks like a few drones down here near Kherson as well in Odessa. So now moving on to another update from Ozen Technical. Massive AAA fire over Ukraine's capital Kyiv tonight as Russia mounts a large-scale air raid on the city. So we've got a video here we can show you guys. It's going to be anti-aircraft gunfire from the Ukrainian side trying to shoot down incoming drones. Take a look. All right, we'll go ahead and pause it there, guys. So yeah, very frightening video footage coming out from Kiev last night. Lots of gunfire. Imagine trying to sleep through all this gunfire and through all the explosions in the night. We could even see smoke over here on the ground. That's probably a lot of these drones that were crashing all over Kiev last night, sparking fires everywhere. So very horrifying footage coming out from Kiev last night. Now from Vicegrad 24, Russia launched one of its largest air attacks against Kiev of the war last night. Entire neighborhoods were on fire after strikes by ballistic missile and suicide drones. 250 suicide drones and 14 ballistic missiles were launched at Ukraine. 9 killed, 50 plus wounded in the past 24 hours. There's a picture as well showing massive fires across Kiev last night. Lots of homes on fire. Very, very horrifying footage and pictures today. Probably some of the worst I've ever seen. Now from NOAA reports, following the overnight attack on Kyiv, damage has been reported at the Blockbuster shopping mall. At least 15 people are now known to have been injured across 5 districts of the capital. So pictures coming out from the shopping mall yesterday. Looks like a clothing store taking a direct hit, probably from drones or maybe ballistic missiles striking it. You can see damage here to the roof. Looks like even there's a hole there, possibly with light coming through from the sun during the day. Here's pictures last night inside of Kiev as well. Lots of fires breaking out from these drones just crashing everywhere. I mean, very, very sad and scary seeing what happened to Ukraine last night. Here's another video from Jay in Kiev, all over Kiev tonight as filthy Russian trash bomb the city with ballistic missiles and drones. So a 24-second clip, you're going to hear lots of explosions across Kiev last night. All right, so this is what sounds like a Russian Shahed drone incoming. At first, I thought it was like a siren or something, but I believe it's a drone incoming and then eventually crashing somewhere in Kiev. Very scary video there. Now for Mosin Technical, Russia is mounting a major strike on Ukraine's capital, Kiev, tonight. Dozens of drones and ballistic missiles have targeted the city as civilians flee to shelters. Seen here, an intercepted Russian Shahed attack drone falls, burning after a successful Ukrainian interception. There's a video as well showing a successful interception of a Russian Shahed drone being taken down over Kiev. You can see a lot of that debris falling there. Crazy video right there. Now from Max Kipish, Kiev tonight. Russia launched another massive missile strike on civilian areas. This is not war, this is terrorism. The world must see it. So take a look at these crazy photos coming out from Kiev last night as well. Looks like we had a massive ballistic missile strike right there in the center of Kiev. Here's a good snapshot of one of these drones being shot down, or could have been one of these missiles as well, because I think there were missiles being shot down, but most of the drones incoming to the area is what we're seeing when we see any kind of debris like this falling. It's usually the drones that were being shot down. Here's one that crashed into a building. These are very good photos. Whatever camera was being used to take pictures, definitely a high quality camera. We can definitely see a lot of the damage here that's been reported inside of Kiev overnight. So very, very crazy pictures there. Now from Victoria, another night of Russian terror against civilians. Countless loud explosions, flashes, fire, and smoke. Incredibly hard on animals too. Russia used both drones and ballistic missiles. So she's got a point there. I mean, imagine the animals as well. A lot of like dogs and cats are very sensitive to a lot of these explosions. You know, any loud sounds as well. My dog that I used to have that unfortunately passed away last year, he used to be very afraid of fireworks as well. And I know a lot of dogs are. So any kind of explosions can frighten animals. So take a look at this. All right, so it looks like we have another Ukrainian resident in the capital of Kiev recording multiple explosions taking place across the city. So very crazy footage coming out from here as well, and very sad to see that. So now from Yurganodit, Kiev was attacked overnight with Russian drones and ballistic missiles. A shopping center was damaged, residential buildings were on fire. There are already 8 victims. So here's a video coming out last night. A high-rise residential building directly struck from a Russian Shahed drone. This is what I was mentioning earlier. You know, imagine the people that can't leave their homes, that are literally just stuck inside of these buildings and they've got nowhere to go. And all they can do is really just hope that a drone doesn't come smashing into their building. And hopefully nobody was inside of this when it got directly hit, because we know a lot of these drones have thermobaric warheads. And once these windows shatter, when that explosion goes off, a lot of this gas seeps into these homes and ignites and can burn and kill a lot of people on the inside. So insane, guys. Now from Anton Gerashenko, the tail section of the 9M723 ballistic missile, the Iskander-M missile system in Kiev this morning. Pictures coming out showing the Iskander-M ballistic missile, or the remnants of it, the rear side where like the booster would be after it crashed into Kiev last night. And we have seen video footage like this before. Look at even damage here, this manhole cover and everything. So just crazy, crazy photos and pictures coming out today. Now, from Jurgen Nodit, horror, the drones that attacked Kiev at night were equipped with metal objects, local media reported. This makes them more deadly. The damage radius and the number of potential civilian casualties are increasing. Europe is now hoping for China to act as a mediator. China certainly supplied components for these drones to Russia. China will never mediate. Yeah, so we'll see if China ever jumps in at some point. I'm thinking they probably won't, but this was a picture coming out from Kiev last night showing metal fragments that were being found inside of some of these drones crashing in Kiev yesterday. And we've seen this before with the Russians. They put all kinds of different stuff, nails inside of these drones. I mean, whatever they possibly can. They turn them into thermobaric warheads to burn people more effectively inside of buildings that might be trying to hide inside whenever these drones explode. I mean, just whatever the Russians can do to terrorize Ukraine, they're doing everything possible. So, crazy photo there. Now for Bliskovka. Russian troops shelled Donetsk region, killing 3 civilians and wounding 5 others, the regional prosecutor's office reports. Pokrovsk, Ilinivska community, Kostiantynivka, and Rodinsk were hit. The dead include a tractor driver, a 51-year-old resident, and an 85-year-old man. The injured include women aged 65 and 85 and 3 other people, at least 17 private houses, 18 multi-story buildings, 30 garages, and a tractor were destroyed. Here's a picture coming out from the Donetsk region as the Russians shelled this area here. So, we know the Donetsk region is seeing a lot of combat action. There's, heavy fighting ongoing, especially near Pokrovsk. So it looks like we had a massive attack over here as well. And I feel like sometimes I just don't even know what to say anymore. There's just so much information coming out from Ukraine all the time. Civilian infrastructure just being damaged all over the place. I mean, look, clearly a home or something here being hit. And I feel like I run out of words to say to describe what's going on over here because there's just so much terror and horror going on inside of Ukraine. So I apologize if I don't have the right words all the time or if I'm using a lot of repetitive words, but sometimes I don't even know how to describe what I see here. There's just so much that we report every day out of Ukraine of just civilian infrastructure being destroyed and people's lives being taken away from them as well. So very sad news, guys. Now from NOAA reports, day 4 of drone strikes. Overnight, another wave of drones slammed into Russian territory. Moscow says 94 were shot down, but reports speak of explosions near Yelets already hit recently, and the NAK Azot chemical plant in Novomoskovsk, if I'm saying that correctly, in the Tula region. So this is what I was talking to you guys about, that chemical plant being attacked today, and also the Energia plant that produces batteries for Russia's military was reportedly attacked as well. So now we're going to start talking about what was happening inside of Russia last night. Quick video of air raid sirens in Russia. Take a look. All right, so it looks like we had some air raid sirens over here from drones entering into Russia last night. I'm assuming at least 100 were entering into Russia because the Russians are claiming they shot down 94, so probably 100, maybe 200 were going into Russia again last night. So for more translated, Ukrainian drones hit NAK Azot chemical plant in Tula Oblast, 350 kilometers from Ukraine, producing ammonium nitrate, nitric acid, methanol, PJSC Energia. Also struck again today per reports. Okay, so this is video footage coming out showing the Azot chemical plant that was being attacked overnight. We can see lots of smoke here. Somebody driving on a highway and was able to record this, and it looks like we had direct hits over here. A few other videos to show you guys as well from Ukraine frontline. A video from the territory of the chemical plant Azot, which was attacked in Novomoskovsk, Tula region in Russia this morning. In local chats, residents write that drones hit the Ammonia 2 and Urea 2 workshops as well as the Workshop 5A. Okay, so it looks like maybe several buildings over here directly hit. And if you look right there, you can see orange smoke coming from the facility indicating chemicals that are burning. Okay, so it looks like we had a successful hit on one of these workshops over here producing chemicals for Russia's military. Now from Max 25, update from Azot plant in Novomoskovsk. I feel like I struggle pronouncing that name, but here's another video coming out. We're not going to watch the whole thing. It's a minute long, but this was one of the newest videos coming out today showing lots of smoke coming from this facility and for sure orange smoke. So it looks like it was burning all the way through the day. And again, successful hit over here, considering that it burned for so long. That means at least 1 or 2 of these buildings over here completely destroyed and will be by the time the fire is done burning. Now from United 24 Media, Energia plant in Russia's Lipetsk region was reportedly attacked by drones for the second time in the last 2 days. The plant produces batteries in particular for attack drones as well as batteries for the aviation and navy, for aviation and the navy, excuse me. So we'll go ahead and let this play for a minute, and we've got destruction here to this building. Now, yesterday I showed you guys some satellite images that were coming out showing the top of this thing hit. Yesterday when we had a video just right here, this was burning when I showed you guys a video yesterday, that little spot right there. So allegedly it did get attacked again, and we don't know the consequences of whether the same building was being hit or another building nearby, because apparently there's like 2 or 3 sections of this building that are all right next to each other. So this was a new video coming out today showing destruction to this Energia battery production plant. Okay, so massive damage from Ukrainian drones over here striking this thing. So let's move on to another update now from Special Kursin Cat. According to Russian sources, part of the crew of the Russian Mi-8 military helicopter that crashed yesterday in the Ural region had taken part in the 2014 extraction of pro-Russian Ukrainian President Yanukovych, flying him out of Ukraine to Russia during his escape. Okay, so Yanukovych was the president in Ukraine from, I think, 2010 to 2014, and just the other day we had a report that one of his aides was killed in Spain, if you guys remember that. Okay, and then allegedly some information coming out today that maybe some of the people that were on this helicopter from yesterday that are reported in the Ural region that had crashed could have been linked to Yanukovych as well. So it looks like there is a group of people going after all those that are connected to Yanukovych, who was the former president in Ukraine back, again, from 2010 to 2014. So that's some crazy news if that happens to be the case, but was very mysterious yesterday when that helicopter just out of nowhere crashed in the Ural region. Some sources were indicating that maybe there was an ammunition detonation on board or some sort of explosion, but we weren't able to see that in the video footage. It looks like the helicopter just lost control and crashed. So that was some interesting info today. Now for military news UA, over the past 24 hours, 2 Russian TOR M2 air defense systems and a BM-27 Uragan MLRS were destroyed in the area of responsibility of the Southern Defense Forces. Okay, this would have been like southern Ukraine, so maybe Zaporizhia, Kherson regions. We had some sort of strikes taking place over here, or maybe it was some sort of drones that Ukraine was using to destroy these. So we had a TOR M2 air defense system that you see here. One of these would have been destroyed over the last 24 hours. And also, we have a BM-27 Uragan MLRS launcher that was destroyed as well. So those are 2 major hits and more heavy losses on the Russian side. Those things are very expensive, especially that air defense system. Now for more translated, 307 more Ukrainian defenders returned home today in the second day of the 1,000 for 1,000 POW swap agreed in Turkey. 697 freed in 2 days per Zelensky. Exchange continues tomorrow, including soldiers, border guards, National Guard. So another 307 Ukrainian POWs returned home today, and we're supposed to be getting the rest of them tomorrow. And by Sunday, that'll be a total of 1,000 Ukrainian soldiers returning back home. Here's a new video coming out from Ukraine today. All right, so very awesome to see this, all these Ukrainian defenders returning back home, and looks like by tomorrow we should have 1,000 in total returned back to the Ukrainian side, but obviously in exchange for 1,000 Russian servicemen returning back to Russia as well. Okay, so cool video coming out today. Now for Bliskovka, 18th package of sanctions. EU considers disconnecting more than 20 Russian banks from the international payment system SWIFT, according to Bloomberg. In addition, the European Union is discussing lowering the ceiling price for Russian oil to $45 and introducing a ban on the Nord Stream gas pipelines. So this is going to be part of the 18th package of sanctions coming out of the EU, some information. So something that I was thinking about is, why is 20 Russian banks not already disconnected from the international payment system called SWIFT? Why are they barely doing this now? But I guess it's better late than never. And then on top of that, talking about lowering the ceiling price for the Russian oil price cap to $45. Right now, I think it's at $60. Ukraine was calling for a $30 price cap. We'll see what happens here, but I guess they're trying to push for 45 right now, and also banning Nord Stream gas pipelines. So we should be hearing more about that soon. Now, from Ukrainian Review, GUR recorded over 150 cases of executions of Ukrainian defenders who were captured by the Russians. The number of executions on the battlefield is increasing. Many cases, direct orders to kill prisoners have been recorded. These crimes are not isolated cases, but part of a targeted policy on the part of leadership of the aggressor state Russia. Here's the report today, okay? So, over 150 cases of executions of Ukrainian soldiers on the Russian side being recorded, guys. We're starting to hear a lot about this again. So many pictures and videos coming out on X that unfortunately I can't show on here. It's just too brutal and graphic. But there's just a lot of talk about this right now. The Russians are executing a lot of Ukrainian soldiers that surrendered to the Russians. So looks like most Ukrainians should probably choose not to surrender because they're probably just going to kill them anyway. So very sad information there. Now, for Max 25, Putin has not abandoned his plans for Ukraine, according to American intelligence. According to the report, the Kremlin is still trying to implement a strategy of attrition to undermine Ukraine's defense capabilities, the morale of the population, and wait for Western support to decrease. Despite the slow progress on the front, the Russian command probably considers this an acceptable development of events. So, basically what we're seeing here is Russia just waiting out to see if Western support is going to decrease for Ukraine. I think the U.S. might be one of the first ones to start to pull out, to pull a support for Ukraine. Will Europe do that? Maybe at some point in the future they might have to, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Many countries like the UK have stated they will stick with Ukraine till the very end. So it looks like Russia's still playing the long game here, and more information coming out today that Russia's not ready to end this war. Now, for Bliskovka, Russia has modernized its Iskander-M ballistic missiles. They are now more difficult to shoot down, said Yuri Inat, spokesman for the Ukrainian Armed Forces. This involves the use of radar traps. The missile can shoot them down as it approaches the target. Because of this, Patriot systems may work less effectively. In addition, the missiles are now able to fly not only along a straight trajectory, but also maneuver. So that's kind of scary. This was actually him speaking in an interview talking about this strike from Ukraine in Ukraine overnight, especially in Kiev being attacked. So he allegedly stating here that the Russians have modernized their Iskander-M ballistic missiles, and these are the same missiles that struck inside of Kiev last night. And we've been hearing about this. Apparently the KN-23s, the North Korean ballistic missiles, have also been upgraded as well. So Russia's continuing to upgrade their missiles, make it difficult for them to be shot down. And that's kind of scary that not only do they fly in a straight trajectory, but they can also maneuver kind of similar to what the drones do. So that's kind of scary information. Now for Max 25, Russian State Duma deputy Bordai openly admitted that Russia is brutally destroying Ukrainians because they allegedly betrayed the Russian image of the future and for refusing to join the Russian world. Look at the caption here. It says, they betrayed our shared ancestors, our common values, and our history. This was an interview that he was in. So another State Duma parliament member or deputy here stating that, the goal of this special military operation basically is to get Ukraine to join into Russia. That's what we heard yesterday. There was another State Duma parliament member that stated the same thing. I think his name was like Viktor Solobev or something like that, if you guys remember that clip I showed you. So just more information coming out from Russia directly from their government, their parliament, just stating that, they want Ukraine to be a part of Russia again. That's the whole goal of this special military operation that was announced yesterday during that video with that other parliament member. So, Russia's not hiding their secrets anymore. Their open secrets, I guess we can call them. They're just outright stating they want Ukraine to be absorbed back into Russia. We heard that report yesterday in regards to Belarus as well, that they want Belarus to be back part of Russia as well, or at least become a single union state along with Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. So crazy information. Now from next, Russia may be behind arson attacks on Starmer-linked homes, according to UK officials investigating Russian connection. British authorities are seriously considering the possibility that Russia may have been involved in recent arson attacks for which 3 Ukrainians have been charged. This was reported by senior government officials to the Financial Times. UK officials are investigating whether actors in Russia may have recruited the trio accused of setting the fires, the paper wrote. The case concerns a series of high-profile arson attacks on homes reportedly linked to Labour Party leader Keir Starmer. 3 Ukrainian nationals have been arrested, one of whom also holds Romanian citizenship. So there's been reports recently that homes that are linked to Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, have been catching on fire, and allegedly some Ukrainians have already been charged, or 3 of them have been. There's a picture here actually. of these men that have been charged, and reportedly they're investigating links to Russia, that maybe these Ukrainian men were carrying out these acts on behalf of Russia to destroy Keir Starmer's homes. So yeah, that's a big report today. Mainstream news really covering this today in regards to that. So if we get more information, I'll let you guys know on that later. Now, for more translated, Zelensky warns Putin is planning something in Belarus with summer 2025 military drills per clash. Russia may use Zapad 2025 exercises as cover for new attacks, potentially targeting Ukraine, Poland, and Lithuania. So Zelensky warning again, this whole military drill that Belarus and Russia are supposed to be holding this summer. I think there could be a total of 100,000 Russian troops inside of Belarus just this summer for a massive military exercise. And we know that a lot of times military exercises are covers for some sort of major plan or attack. So could Belarus be joining the war or something? Or maybe Russia's going to attack through Belarus to hit Ukraine and target new regions? Or, could we see an attack on maybe the Baltic nations or Poland or something like that? Apparently, that's what Zelensky is warning about once again. Now for Bliskovka, peace in Ukraine is now more elusive than at the beginning of Trump's presidency in January. The U.S. president's threats have turned out to be empty, writes Washington Post. Trump has been president for only 3 weeks, and he has already played his main card in the negotiations on Ukraine. He has stopped isolating Putin, the publication notes. So apparently the Washington Post was stating that, 3 weeks in, the U.S. President Donald Trump was already giving up on isolating Russia and pressuring Russia. And, we saw that basically from the very beginning once Trump got in office. Soon after, he was already calling Ukraine or calling Zelensky here, stating that Zelensky is the reason that this war is not ending, siding with the Russians. And at some point, flip-flop back to the Ukrainian side after we had a minerals deal being done between Ukraine and Russia just like a month or so back. Now he's starting to flop back to the Russian side again, so he's just all over the place. But this report just coming out today showing that Trump did not really, stick to his whole plan really from the very beginning, stating that he was going to end this war very quickly, and he didn't put as much pressure onto Russia as maybe he should have to try to end this. So it's just been very frustrating coming out from the U.S. administration in terms of their foreign policy and how they're dealing with this war and trying to end it. And really, they should be standing with Ukraine more than Russia because Ukraine was attacked by Russia, but we're not seeing that from the Trump administration. Now for more translated, Sky News. Russia has moved up to 50,000 troops near Kharkiv, including elite VDV. A possible offensive may target Kharkiv, Sumy, or 2022 liberated areas. Analysts say Moscow has a 4-month window before weather worsens and old Soviet gear runs out. All right, more reports, guys, of the Kharkiv region, also Sumy region, that could be heavily attacked very soon. This up in northeastern Ukraine. 50,000 troops are stationed just over the border from the Kharkiv region. So I think we're going to see a pretty major operation taking place in the Kharkiv region, especially. This is something I reported to you guys over the last couple of days, that Russia is preparing a new offensive over here. So get ready for that. Now for military news, Russia will be able to fight for at least 2 more years at the current level of losses, the commander of the U.S. Armed Forces in Europe, Kavoli. He added that in 2025, the Russian army should receive 1,500 tanks and 3,000 armored vehicles of various types, apparently restored, modernized, and manufactured in total. So Christopher Kavoli, the commander of the U.S. Armed Forces in Europe, warning that Russia could fight this war for 2 more years. Let me know if you guys think that's the case. Does Russia have the economy to be able to withstand that? I mean, we know their defense industry is just working tenfold right now to produce as much weapons for this war effort, and so far it looks like they're being able to hold up for the most part, aside from Ukraine just smashing military defense plants all over Russia recently. So a new warning coming out from the U.S. That Russia is prepared to fight on for years more. Now from Bliskovka, Air Defense Forces of Ukraine shot down 6 out of 14 Russian ballistic missiles and neutralized 245 out of 250 UAVs. 128 were shot down by firepower. 117 were locally lost, suppressed by electronic warfare without negative consequences. So take a look at this, guys. Now, this is interesting information. So again, look at what we're seeing here. 245 out of 250 UAVs. To be honest, I feel like that's a little hard to believe considering the amount of damage that we saw happening inside of Ukraine. Now, were maybe some of these drones that were crashing into apartment buildings and whatnot in Ukraine, maybe they were suppressed by electronic warfare and they were crashing into homes over there? Or were these direct strikes where these drones were actually making their way in and successfully hitting targets, which we know are civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. But we've been seeing massive numbers here of drones being taken down from the Ukrainian side. So if that happens to be the case, that's just crazy. 245 out of 250 being shot down, but 6 out of 14 Russian ballistic missiles. So let me know what you guys think is going on here, because over the last week, we've been reporting extreme numbers of these drones on the Ukrainian side that they're able to take down from the Russians. Okay, we've been seeing like a 90% plus success rate from the Ukrainians. So crazy news there. Now from Kyiv Independent, these are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of May 23rd, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. And our final updates here: Russia's losses as of May 23rd, 1,050 troops, 11 AFVs, 139 vehicles and fuel tanks, 2 tanks, 43 artillery systems, 148 UAVs, 2 MLRS. Okay, so still kind of the same trend here. We're not seeing a whole lot being destroyed on the Russian side. We've been seeing this for probably about a week now, or going on over a week. So we're starting to see closer to about 1,000 troops per day, not so much 1,300 like we were seeing before. And then vehicles, fuel tanks still sitting about 139. I think we had that same number yesterday. AFVs and tanks still almost nothing, only 2 tanks and 1 AFV. Average number of artillery systems here. So not a whole lot being destroyed at all over the last 24 hours, and still wondering why that might be. So let me know what you guys think about all these details, though. Lots of news coming out from Ukraine after this horrific attack by the Russians. So share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.